morning, good morning, good morning. You are tapping in to the Urban Conservative. I'm Chaz Neal, coming live from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And today I have, maybe he's not on here no more.
I'm
Uh,
still here, brother.
okay, I didn't see you on the screen. So I have my producer and co-host, John Tail Tolan.
What's going on, everybody? Grand Rising. This is John Tell, straight out of Pennsylvania, coming at you. Appreciate the love, brother.
Oh, always, always. And you are tuning in to the Urban Conservative. I'm Chaz Neal, activist based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we are being brought to you today by the Leon Block Independent Media. We are all about transparency, truth, and accountability. The Urban Conservative is all about the news on the streets, gun violence, crime, politics, and how we solve our community's most hardest issues. How can we change our communities for the better? Let's get back to family, community, and building foundational roots. Let's make sure nobody gets left behind. Shut up and help. Um,
That's right.
so this morning, we're gonna do something different. Um, we're gonna talk about something that actually happened just yesterday at 1:50 in the morning. Uh, Not really sure how to really wrap it around my head because it's still kind of uh, fresh. And honestly, it's shit that you see in movies. It's shit that you see on the news.
Right.
It's shit that has happened to our great black leaders. Uh,
Yep.
and to see that it's 2022 and shit like this is still happening, and to figure out, and honestly, this is the crazy part for me and the people that are around me is we actually feel this is targeted from the other side. Um, we're doing a lot of things. If people don't know Chaz Neal, Black Lives the Streets, Marcus Tom, we all started this journey with Black Lives Matter, supporting Democrats, supporting liberals. And now that we've seen let me tell you, because today is Wildin' Out Wednesdays.
Yeah.
I want people to, and again, this incorporates of what we're talking about today, is the greatest lie ever told. Not saying that George Floyd was not killed by Derek Chauvin in the Minneapolis Police Department, because he was. It had nothing to do with fentanyl. But the greatest lie ever told then doesn't have to do with George Floyd. It has to do with Minneapolis. And I hope people do watch that and watch it open-mindedly. I know people don't like Candace Owens for the simple fact of that she's a Republican, conservative, whatever you want to look at it. It is time for people to put politics to the side and let's just have conversations, open-minded conversations, because things like this cannot continue to happen. What happened at 1:52 yesterday morning?
So, what happened yesterday morning?
Yeah. So, oh man. So we were woken up yesterday morning from a boom. Looked at the cameras, and what you're gonna see is video from our front door camera and from camera that is from our of the property. Um, and what you're gonna see is a bang. You're gonna see smoke. And what the bomb squad told us yesterday is that if that didn't, so what they threw it on was metal awning, which wasn't going to catch fire. But if it would have been anything other than that, that wasn't metal, me and my wife probably wouldn't be here right now. And that is the sickest part of it all, because, you know, I would sit here and ask questions, and the first thing that people want to talk about is Antifa.
Right.
Who the fuck is Antifa? Antifa is just like a conservative. It's anti-fascist. It's a value. That's how I see it. Antifa is because you live your way accordingly to the way of life that you see under that value. Just like with mine, it's family first, which is conservative. It's not political. It's because honestly, I don't agree with most of the shit that Republicans or Democrats talk about, because it has nothing to do with the people. It has to do with
property. That's right.
And this has nothing to do about property, because 2 lives were almost lost last night. And that to me is a problem when Black lives are supposed to matter, but yet it's these so-called liberals, these so-called Black Lives Matter people are out here still causing trauma to Black people.
Yep.
So how are we going to get change if we're fighting our own people? How is that change? Because we disagree politically? See, y'all think I disagree politically. No, here's the thing of it is, my fight is right versus wrong, good versus evil. There ain't no, and here's the thing, Republicans and Democrats are both wrong. There ain't no right in that shit.
Right.
There's no right in that shit. So, John, tell if you want to play the videos.
Yeah, of course. Is it the shorter one or the longer one?
The longer one is the first one. The longer one is the where you can see the smoke at first.
That. All right, y'all, check this out.
Now, if you want to go back and rewind it and just don't play it, but just go back to and just sit it there when at the beginning of the video. And stop it. Yeah, if you can.
It's not gonna. It won't. Let,
okay, so
what I can do is, let me see, because I might be able to.
Let me take a picture of the video while I play. Let's go to a commercial break real quick. Just a little fast one, a minute one.
No doubt.
I play the beginning of my intro.
Got you.
That works. Yo. Welcome back. John Tell, if you would check and I did put it in the wrong one, but
Check that.
our Daily T chat. You will see that I did put some pictures in there. So during this, we have a shed that is, if you want to point over to the right side, over there on the other side of the smoke, we have a shed that is over there. And we, across our parking lot on the other side of that smoke is a gas station. Their cameras and another community member's camera caught somebody coming down the alley, lighting something, some kind of device, and throwing it. The FBI, if you see right there, that is the bomb squad, MPD's bomb squad that came. The FBI has been reached out to, has been called. To be honest, they told us that there's really nothing that they can really do, which I already, I understand. And this, what you're seeing is debris that was left from whatever device that they tried to do. So there was various things that the bomb squad could tell. They did pick up some evidence it's going to be tested to see what exactly was used in this device. Never heard of a firebomb besides the movies. So when the bomb squad said all of this, made me kind of feel a certain type of way, because I'm all about self-protection. I'm all about protecting mine, not about violence, which that's violence. If we can't sit here and have normal conversations and talk like adults, there's no point of us to even have conversations, because I'm going to tell you like this, even with, I will say it like this, the Jordan Poole and Draymond Green situation. Jordan Poole should have kept his fucking hands to himself. If you don't want to be hit, don't put your hands on nobody. That's my thing. And I know people, I don't give a fuck what nobody says. My thing is, do not put your motherfucking hands on nobody if you do not want to be touched. That, at the end of the day, if you do not want to be touched, do not put your hands on nobody. Because Jordan Poole did not have to put his hands on Draymond Green. That's wrong. Wrong is wrong. Right is right. Right? Two wrongs don't make a right. They're both wrong in this situation, but Draymond Green had the right to defend himself. And I just wanted to speak on that because it has to do with self-protection. But yes, it's to me, everything that is happening, what the fuck is different from 1960? Because this is what they were doing, firebombs. In 2020, I remember going to these YT areas, these woke areas with liberals, and yet to see farmers talking about grabbing their shit spreaders to spray on us, to grab fire hoses. And nigga, this is not 1960. This is 2022. And to come out here and to be in these streets and to be the way that people are talked to, the way that people want to say that, oh, you're wrong. How is it anything that we are doing is wrong? Because I'm not out here trying to burn up buildings. I'm not out here trying to kill people. What I'm out here trying to do is make awareness and to bring reform and change to a society that has not seen it since we became a nation, since 1776. That's what we're trying to do. And if people want to sit here and y'all want to do fire bombs, y'all want to do cowardly ass moves, we can play that. But listen, I'm not going to come to y'all cribs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to these fucking black churches because y'all are part of the problem. These black nonprofits, because y'all want to sit back and allow bullshit like this to happen, but y'all want to go up to City Hall? How would it, you know what's crazy is how is it that because we endorse and sponsor Republican candidates, that makes us a danger? How? We're not the ones being harassed to take down our political signs. We're not the ones harassed and trying to be intimidated to do public events, and be shut down by Black people in our own community. How is that right? When is it ever okay to silence conversation for people to be listening? Because I'll tell you right now, we've had 4 different events for Saturday, October 15th, and we've had to move each and every event. Last minute, we've had 3 different flyers that we've had to cancel. And we can't even do anything in North Minneapolis because you dick-sucking liberals, you dick-sucking followers are scared because you don't want to bite the hand that feeds y'all. That is a problem. When are you going to stand up and fuck Keith Ellison and his fucking lawsuit against Winters and Merwins? Because how is that going to help? All them niggas are doing are moving. So they're not on our Lindale and Broadway anymore, but they on Penn and Broadway. They on Penn and Lowry. They had all these little gas stations, these little corner stores. So all y'all did was move the problem. You didn't solve the problem, you moved it. How does that help? Because the police, we still are understaffed. You still have these so-called violence interrupters looking the other way. So how is that helping? We still have murders coming out here. St. Paul's had 2 in 2 days. A 16-year-old that was killed by another boy, and then just somebody last night in Frogtown. So when are we going to stand up? When are we going to shut up and help?
That's right.
When are we going to shut up and help? Are we going to continue to allow the trauma, the traumatic stress that goes on in our communities? Because I don't see nobody talking about the overdoses. I don't see no politician beyond a couple, Cicely Davis, Sean Holster, Jim Schwartz, or Andrew Schmidt, Jim Schultz, Matt Burt, Scott Jensen. But y'all want to talk about the fact that they're talking about abortion? Listen, abortion ain't on the fucking ballot in Minnesota. It's not on the ballot. And the same difference that we're out here going to protest, what would be any fucking different? Because it doesn't matter. We're out here protesting and Democrats run Minneapolis, but we're still out here in these streets. So you tell me what the fuck would be any different? Because the people we have in office right now, we still got to protest. So you tell me what would be any different. Only difference is we'd be going to another side. That's it. We'd have to go protest to another side. There ain't no difference because they are feathers from the same bird. Yes. I don't know who that queen is, but Alicia Kuhn, please reach out. We would love to talk to you. Anybody with stories of police brutality, racism, systemic, if it's something to do with CPS, if it's something to do with school districts, because we're here for it all. Any injustice is an injustice anywhere. So right. We will stand up. We will fight in solidarity because I wish I had the funds, the money, because I would be out in Akron. After what is going on in seeing Jaheim McMillan, this shit is getting old to me, man. And it's like all I see is galas. I see protesting at closed buildings, but I don't see no change. I see people trying to go to the ballot, but not trying to make change. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when are we going to finally wake up? Because I see everybody talking about they're woke, but how awake are you? Because are you in snooze mode? Because I don't see no wake ass people up here. Because if y'all were woke, I wouldn't see as many press conferences. I wouldn't see galas. I wouldn't see award ceremonies, because what are we passing out awards for? All we're getting is compensation. We're not getting any accountability. We're getting compensation. Compensation. Because how does it? There was a man that just got out of Louisiana prison after, I think it was like 12 years, and they gave him $1 million for every year that he was incarcerated. What does $12 million do for 12 years that he lost?
Right.
It doesn't do shit. Money doesn't do shit. It doesn't take back the 12 years that you lost, or even the fact that we have individuals in prison right now that the evidence shows that they're innocent, that they're not guilty, but the fact that that isn't enough in court to overturn a conviction. So I want y'all to know that evidence is not enough to overturn a conviction. So what does that tell you? The system ain't set up for us. And there's so many stories like that. We have Tashira Garraway. We have Amity Demick, who is Kobe Heisler's mom.
Ricardo Munoz.
Right. This is the type of things that Ricky Torres. These are the type of things that law enforcement, the police unions allow. They want this type of domestic terrorism, American terrorism, because that's what I'm going to call it, because they're slave catchers. Do we have good cops? No. We have people that want to be good cops but aren't allowed to be good cops. And
we have people that are cops, right?
Right. Because we have to look at the person's personality. We have to look at the people sometimes, and not always their job. But when they put on that uniform and they're not calling out, man, I don't give a fuck who you are.
The whole profession itself is bad. I don't care how good of a person you are. If you're a good person doing a bad job, the job is going to be fucking bad, period.
Say it again. Say it for the people in the back. Because
it doesn't matter how much good of a person you are. If you're getting a job that's bad, you're always going to do a bad fucking job.
Right. And here's my thing. How is there any good cops? Because we see stories every day. Bro, do we not see stories every day?
Every single
about
day.
Cops turning the other way and not calling out their counterparts.
Yep.
Not calling out their counterparts, because they'll sit there and justify it before they'll call it out, because they don't want to lose support.
There's this code of silence, and you know what we always say, violence equals violence.
Right. But we allow it, because if you look at some of the areas with the most crime, who is it ran by?
Right.
Chicago, Detroit, Milwaukee, Philly, New York, LA. And we just seen what happened in LA. We just talked about that yesterday. And to update from the story yesterday, one of the people did resign of the LA City Council, and now they are just waiting for the other two to resign. President whack-ass Biden did ask for them to resign.
I did see that. Yeah.
During his little press conference yesterday, and it shouldn't have to come to that. They should just do the right thing. And I did talk about another story out of Columbia Heights yesterday. Miss Jacobs, KT Jacobs. I will say this, that there wasn't stuff that I shared yesterday that I know people that actually work with the lady. I reached out to them. I did have a conversation and just told them, like, damn, I wish I would have said something beforehand. But I want to say this about the Jacob story is we can't always run with a police narrative. We shouldn't always, not even just a police narrative, a mainstream media narrative. There was a lot of things to that story, I guess, that wasn't in the media that maybe should have been. But at the end of the day, and this is what I told the person yesterday, if Miss Jacobs did make that call, and I'm gonna read that in a minute. If if the lady did, Miss Jacobs did say the things that she said that were said, or it was actually her niece, I still feel in my heart the right thing to do is to resign for the simple fact you are deflecting and distracting from the core issues that are going on in your community. Because if now you are censored, you're not on any committees, you're not on any boards, you have no vote, you are no good constituents. So the best thing for you to do, ma'am, is to resign. I know it's not always the best, but that censorship, your political career is dead, ma'am. That is going to walk with you for the rest of your life. It's better to just walk away now with your head held high and use it as a learning lesson. Use it to better yourself. Use it to better your community. And that's what we need to take from all of this because, ma'am, if you are not a hate-filled person, then you should do the right thing because right now the right thing to do is to step away so that the attention isn't on you and it can be on the issues that are in your community. That's what I have to say about that. Oh, yeah, that. So I want to read the press release that Black Lives Streets and Unit 612 released last night. So Black Lives the Streets, Unit 612, October 11th, 2022 media press release regarding incendiary device incident at Northside Urban Pride Outreach. At 1:52 yesterday morning, our headquarters was hit with a firebomb. We have video footage from our property and surrounding video footage from our community neighbors that show an individual lighting and throwing an incendiary device. Police came and took evidence, and we will be calling for accountability and justice. We at Northside Urban Pride Outreach express thanks at the tremendous support that immediately came from all sectors of our team. A variety of community members came to the center to express their support and offer any help that they could. This is just another reminder that Minnesotans are one community who support each other during difficult times. We request the public to assist our law enforcement officers by calling Minneapolis police with any information. And this press release was brought to you by Marcus X. Smith, Executive Director at Black Lives the Streets, Todd Grammons, President at Black Lives the Streets, Chaz Neal, Policy Director at Black Lives the Streets, Brian Warfield, Safety Director at Unit 612, and you can email us at blacklivesthestreets@gmail.com with any information. We're poor. We ain't got no reward. Hey, I'm gonna keep 100. I'm gonna keep it 100. We don't have a reward. But to do the right things, you should never have to get any money for that because people could have lost their lives last night.
Mm-hmm.
2 people could have lost their lives last night. And for what? Because we want to show Minneapolis another way of life, that it doesn't have to be all about liberals. It doesn't all have to be about handouts. It doesn't have to be about WIC. It doesn't have to be about Section 8. It doesn't have to be about food stamps. It could be about self-sustaining. Them conversations can be about generational wealth because the Democrats ain't talking that. They're not telling us, they're not showing us how to be self-sustaining because they always want us to be in line for a handout. A handout. Because all of this money that we're seeing going in our community, and it's cheaper to actually help people, to put them in housing, than to sit here and pay for homeless shelters, to put in prison, to put consequences on people that are homeless instead of just maybe paying 2 years for them to get on their feet.
And that is fact.
You know
That's
what I'm saying?
fact. Yeah.
You look at it, and I've done this. I've looked at the statistics and the data so a 2-bedroom apartment in Minneapolis goes for anywhere between $1,200 to $1,400 a month, right?
Wow.
Now, if you times that by 12, you're not looking at much, but under 20 grand a year, right? Now, when you look at putting somebody in prison or jails or in and out of treatment centers, you're spending anywhere between 40 to 80 grand a year per person. Now, we could cut that by putting people in housing, give them services to get on their feet.
Yep.
Let them stack some money, help them with their credit, help them with financial literacy, and then you can cut the pacifier, because that's what I'm going to call it. The Democrats want us to be on pacifier. They don't want us to be able to sit here and to just be able to go through it and figure it out on our own, because that's what self-sustaining gives you that ability to do, is to be able to figure it out and go get it. But now, when you're looking at a handout, you might get that Social Security, you might get that check on the 1st of the month. But then what happens on the 16th of the month when you ain't got no money? You ain't got no gas to maybe take your baby to the hospital. You ain't got no gas to go grocery shopping. Or maybe you don't even have money to pay the electric bill. What are you going to do? You're going to go out there and you're going to go get it by any means necessary. Most people would.
Right.
So you're going to go out there and do the wrong thing instead of doing the right thing. And that's what this is all about. This isn't about Democrats, Republicans. This is about a way of life. And are we okay with this way of life of being lawless, of being selfish? Because that's all we see out here. You can't tell me any different, bro. Like, out of everything that I've literally seen in the last 2 years of just showing the stories today, Freedom for All, if y'all didn't check that out, that was an explosive episode about police misconduct.
Real.
Money to save.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Please go check that out, because that was a very informative episode. Shout out to Meg for even doing that. And that's what we need to get back into. Is like, you look at the last 10 years, it's been over $1 billion in payouts, police misconduct payouts. Why are we okay with that? That is our money.
I think it's in the past 10 years, from the top 25 major cities alone, and there's 18,000 jurisdictions alone.
Right.
Okay, keep that in mind. $3 billion. So just think about figuratively how much more we have not been able to track.
Right.
Think about how hard it is to track to begin with. Okay, so we're spending almost essentially all of our money to find ways to kill ourselves.
Right. Now, what I want people to know too is that when it comes to these lawsuits, so you see Minneapolis, 27, 20, in the double digits. But then you see some that maybe were on the same Richter scale of violence. Mm-hmm. But because of the jurisdiction that it's in, they're not going to get the same payout.
Yep.
Is that right? No, it's not. But see, we have to figure out politics. We have to figure out, why is it that way? Well, I'll tell you guys why it's that way. Because unless you're a big city like Minneapolis and St. Paul, which is self-insured, right? So self-insured, there isn't no stipulations when it comes to settlements. Now, in Minnesota, when it comes to lawsuits with cities that are under the League of Minnesota Cities, which they pay every year for insurance. Now, if you go look on city council agendas, you'll see them sometimes go into what we call a closed session. Now, a closed session is where they talk about lawsuits. They talk about employees that the public, they don't want you to hear. So like in let's talk about Dante Wright. That settlement was $3.2 million.
Mm-mm-mm.
Now in Minnesota, because of the insurer, you can only go up to 3.5 million. Now, was Dante Wright's life only worth 3.2 and George Floyd's was worth 27 million? Now that's a problem to me.
But it depends. But because of the jurisdiction,
Right.
the law and the differences, that's why we're seeing
and the differences. Right.
Okay.
So because of that, you have Minneapolis, which is self-insured and has boatloads of money to just throw around, where if it would have been, let's say, a $27 million settlement, that would have bankrupted Brooklyn Center.
Right.
Because they don't have that type of money. Now, Minneapolis is probably in the next, I would say 3 to 4 years, could literally be bankrupt. Could be bankrupt because it ain't because we're defunding the police. It's because the police are defunding the city.
Yep. Talk about it.
There is no other way to look at that. The police are defunding Minneapolis. It's not the other way around. When we look at since 2020, it has been over damn near $60 million in payouts. $60 million in payouts, 47 to just two people, to two families.
Wow.
To two families. That's $47 million. And there's so many payouts from the uprising that hasn't, there's still some that are in, there's probably 30 some lawsuits right now, civil lawsuits against the city of Minneapolis from the uprising. And that's not even including the officers' worker comp for PTSD. So not only are we paying the residents for being abused, but we're paying the cops for being abused.
Right.
By giving them pensions, by giving them worker comp benefits.
Mm-hmm.
But yet forget about the people. Forget about the people. Because they literally, I think I shared it on Freedom for All, but literally on an average, Minneapolis is paying damn near per officer almost $8,000 a month.
Wow.
Yeah, $8,000 a month for abusing and traumatizing. And this is, I want people to know, is that most of these officers were Derek Chauvin.
Mm-hmm.
They were Derek Chauvin. They were somebody that was out here brutalizing our kids, somebody that was out here brutalizing our community, and yet getting paid for it. We still have officers now that have killed Bilal Aid, Winston Smith, and so many others, Andrew Tekelberg, that are out here in these streets that are policing our communities, but are killers.
Yep.
But are killers. And what are we doing about it? And that's what I'm saying to Akron. That's what I'm going to say to Akron. So I'm going to take this little last 5-6 minutes and I'm going to speak some shit because I got to get it out, because today is Walker Wednesday. And I'm doing this for you, Jalen. I'm doing this for the Walker family because it needs to be said. And I know that Queen might not agree with what I got to say, but it has to be said. This goes for Freedom Block. This goes for people serving people. What I'm asking y'all to do, and if anybody is in the comments, tag them. Because I need y'all to listen to this. I need Freedom Block, people serving people. If you are a nonprofit out in Akron, if you are somebody that is out fighting for justice and accountability, I need y'all to listen. I need y'all to listen because it's very serious. Your city council members, they all knew those 8 officers were going back to work. All 8 of them. All I think there's 13 of them. They all knew. Freedom Block, did you know? Because if you did, that's fucked up. And I know you guys have a very close relationship with the city of Akron. I talked to Margot. I talked to Mr. Somerville, her daddy, who was running for mayor, I think, or some shit. Marco, whatever the hell his name is. Y'all need to stand up. People serving people, stand up. Because there shouldn't be no way that you had people from Minnesota, that you had people from Pennsylvania, you had people from North Carolina, you had people from Wisconsin, you had people from Kentucky, you had people from Grand Rapids, you had people from other parts of Ohio that got abused, that got brutalized. What are y'all doing about it? Because I know damn well if that was Minnesota, that'd be Minneapolis. Shit, even Kenosha. Y'all gotta uprise. I know it's scary, but do it for Jalen. Do it for Muhammad. Do it for all the other names. Because when are y'all ever gonna do it for James Gross, who just earlier this week the officer was found not guilty or charges were dismissed, whatever the fuck it was. Why? Why? Why are all eight officers back at work? Why are all eight officers back at work with no judge? You don't even have the name. You don't even have the name. What about Tango 22? What about Pressure? What about Jacob Blake?
Talk about it.
What about Cortez Rice? And that is not my arch enemy. Just because I don't agree with that Negro right now does not make him my enemy. I still don't want to see that man hurt. Still don't want to see that man hurt. But y'all got to stand up because can't nobody do it for Akron but Akron. We don't live there. You guys have to live there, not us. But we need y'all to wake up and smell the coffee, whatever it is that smell the boo-boo out in Akron. Because until y'all do it, y'all are going to keep on having the police-involved killings, state killings, until you make that change. And going to the ballot November 8th to do some kind of public commission, unless that's done right, it ain't going to do shit. And the people that you have right now on council, your mayor, that right there is not good for the people. Reverend Green, I don't know. I'm going to be as respectful as I can, sir. Be transparent. Be transparent, because I know that y'all stopped protesting for 30 days, that you had a contract with the city of Akron.
Talk about it.
I know this. I know that y'all signed a contract for a month, and then y'all did a week of actions for Jalen. What about everybody else? Because what about Pressure? You guys haven't even got charges dropped on these people. So where is the accountability? Because I see press conferences. What I don't see is no action. I don't see no action. Because there should be no way that Jacob Blake Sr., activist Pressure, gets abused, brutalized like that. And for the simple fact of you have Bianca Austin, Cortez Rice be arrested, falsely arrested, and the way they were treated. And yet, why are any of those, why is that city being able to run up? Why? Why are they allowed to do these little events? And y'all want to stand with them instead of calling them out. I think Ron O'Neal is a great man. I think some of your city council members are great. But if they're not standing up, because doing it at a city council meeting and still not getting no answers, it's not standing up. I'm sorry. It's not standing up. And if y'all are okay with that bullshit ass excuse that y'all got for the bombing threats while they were at home doing city council and y'all were outside when there was a whole threat, make it make sense to me, because what would have happened if everybody would have died that night? What would have happened if there was a bomb that went off at City Hall while they were sitting at home and y'all were all outside?
Talk about it. Talk about it.
And Margot, tell me I'm lying, because you knew about that shit. We had a conversation. You actually thought I lived in Akron. I didn't, sweetie. But I did give you some shit to make your community better, and you ain't even doing it. I don't think you reached out to Katie Wright. I don't think you reached out to Amity Dimmick. I don't think you reached out to Michelle Gross, because the shit that I see and I'm reading out of Akron, no. So I know people are gonna go vote on question number 10 on Akron. Yeah, do it. But also, you got to vote for somebody that's going to make sure that that ballot question number 10, which is your police community safety group or whatever it is, that it stays in the people's hands. Because if it doesn't, y'all doing this for nothing. You're doing this for nothing. Basically nothing. So Freedom Block, people serving people, this isn't to call y'all out. It's to make y'all aware. Take it how you want to take it, because I ain't never going to take none of these words back, because I honestly want to say way more than what I'm actually saying. And I kept it PG for y'all. So, Mr. Green, if you want to call, we can definitely have a conversation where it's not going to be Christian. It ain't going to be respectful, because I'm going to tell you how I really fucking feel to your face. So, and that's part of the problem. So with that, win or fail, freedom or jail, heaven or hell, wish me well.